Sometimes a woman can talk her out of a relationship. You can talk. We do that.
Yes,
we will talk.
I'm gonna say something, and this might ruffle little feathers. I don't think just being a good man is enough to stay in a relationship with them.
But when I say a good man, I mean like he's good. That means all around. That means himself, spiritually, mentally, physically.
That's great.
Healthily, like he's a good man.
That doesn't mean that he's the man for you. And maybe when you're going through these motions of getting to know him, you're realizing, okay, he's a great person, but honestly, I don't fuck with his humor. Like, he could be funny, but he's not funny to me.
And that's why a lot of modern women are getting 40 with 4 cats and no man, because he's a good man, but because he's not funny, you gotta throw that out. Sometimes a woman can talk her out of a relationship. You can talk. We do that.
Yes,
we will talk.
I'm gonna say something, and this might ruffle little feathers. I don't think just being a good man is enough to stay in a relationship with them.
But when I say a good man, I mean like he's good. That means all around. That means himself, spiritually, mentally, physically.
That's great.
Healthily, like he's a good man.
That doesn't mean that he's the man for you. And maybe when you're going through these motions of getting to know him, you're realizing, okay, he's a great person, but honestly, I don't fuck with his humor. Like, he could be funny, but he's not funny to me.
And that's why a lot of modern women are getting 40 with 4 cats and no man, because he's a good man, but because he's not funny, you gotta throw that out.
Now, see, I can understand to a certain degree, right? Because people are good people. Doesn't mean that they're compatible with you, and I totally understand that to a certain degree. The woman on the right was trying to explain to the woman on the left, you know, you gotta have grace to understand when you get a person in your life that's quality, give them a chance. The bigger thing is this, right? Because everybody has their own preferences. I respect that. They can do whatever they want, and I'm all about it. Stand on it, right? That's all I say is you make a decision, stand on it, right? But a lot of women out here are saying that there's no good men. There's no good men, and all men ain't shit. I mean, that's what we're getting, right? But here's a woman who is just casually rejecting quality men. Maybe he doesn't float your boat in every which way. I understand sense of humor and being able to interact with each other, being able to hang out as friends and enjoy each other's company. That's all within that, for sure. But I feel like a lot of women misconstrue that type of chemistry with, I want to be with this person for a long time. And that's why they end up with, guys that they have a lust for, they have a sexual chemistry with, but it's no more than that. And I think women got to understand that the balance of someone who cares about them, really can plan and is responsible and is a quality person enough to do what they say, and you want to build with that person long term that you can really depend on. Those are the most important things for a person in a relationship. Women got to ask themselves, what do they want in a relationship? And to me, it sounds like they don't really know. And again, I'm not here to pick on women like that. I'm here to really just have a conversation, right? And say, like, does this make sense? And I appreciate this woman here, having the back and forth with her, instead of saying, yes, sis, and all this other stuff that they be telling each other. You know what I'm saying? She's willing to have that conversation and go back and forth with her to say, look, you might want to reconsider that, because we already go through the math and the percentages of finding a quality person in general, right? And again, totally understand preferences, but people got to realize what preferences they might have today may not necessarily be good for them in the long run. And have those preferences, but then there are things that really matter more than the other, right? And I think boredom and certain things like that from women, and being engaged and being excited and having the tingles all the time is what they want from a man. And that's, and again, that's dangerous, because at the end of the day, that's a landmine that is like a perpetual landmine. Next thing you know, now you've lost that connection, so to speak, that quote unquote connection, like it's Wi-Fi and shit. I'm not here to try to take a choice away from a woman. I get that that's a big deal, and I'm not here to, I'm independent as they come. So I totally understand having choices and responsibilities and holding yourself accountable. I'm just seeing too many women out here going through guys that could be a good candidate, but because they're not the funniest guy, or they don't have the swag that's like their favorite rapper or their favorite entertainer, that they look down upon a guy. Because sometimes people need time to warm up, or you start to develop certain different chemistry over time. I know you need enough things to connect with, but you definitely need to look at the bigger picture, right? What's the most important characteristics of a man? And if it's just to be like, you might need a friend or a road dog or somebody like that versus a guy in a relationship that you build with, because you're going to be disappointed at other things. Like a lot of these women, they say these guys aren't on anything, right? And they're bums, or they lack the ambition or certain different things. So if you really look at the list of preferences that they have, you must be, there's just a lot of things that you have to get to as a man, right? You got to be ambitious. You got to be creative. You got to be witty. Is emotionally intelligent, right? He knows when and where to do things, right? It's which I can certainly understand that, right? A stable guy that isn't just angry all the time. He can control his emotions, right? And he could communicate, be self-reflective. Okay, totally understand that, right? So you got to have that too. You also can't be no sucker. You can't be weak, right? You got to be able to, quote unquote, handle them and their personalities when they can't handle themselves, right? So you got to be able to step in, be a calming presence. Okay, check. Then you got a guy, again, he can't be no sucker in a different way, right? You can't be a guy who's going to not be able to defend himself, right? So you got to be able to defend the household and be able to secure things, not only mindset-wise, what you think about, what's important to you, how you move, but physically, right? Being able to understand, be willing, put your life on the line, and for your girl and for your kids, presumably, right? So here we go, right? We're already thick in the list, and it gets longer. I think a lot of women really be like, they think that's a flex, right? That they raise their standards so high that nobody could be on their level, quote unquote. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I'm constantly asked, okay, what's the general pulse of the dating scene? And I think mainly what this is this right here. Is this right here. The devaluing of what men bring to the table in a relationship. A man's presence and all that he brings in a relationship is being overlooked and devalued. And you basically have to be a great man to even remotely get consideration to be in a relationship. Does that sound like something that makes sense? Especially when that person that's demanding that isn't perfect themselves. They got a lot of flaw. And not only do they have a lot of flaw that hasn't been even given attention that it needs to be given. You know what I'm saying?
Like, he could be funny, but he's not funny to me.
And that's why a lot of modern women are getting 40 with 4 cats and no man, because
maybe that's what they like.
He's a good man, but.
And again, so her rebuttal was, maybe that's what they like. And again, that's why it's just tough really having a conversation and having this debate with women a lot of the times, right? When they just don't want to understand. The woman on the right, she understands. Nobody's perfect, but she at least understands, hey man, like, this is crazy. Y'all going way too far with this level and line of thinking, right? But the lady on the left, she just has to continue to just argue to be right. Doesn't matter what's coming out of her mouth that doesn't make sense. She's gonna keep running her mouth and keep talking. Well, of course she likes having a pet, but I could imagine that she want to work a man in there, right? Like I said, it's all good right now until you need someone to be there for you as you're going back and forth to the doctors, or you know what I'm saying, you want to be able to turn around and tell them about something that you accomplished, or you want to be, while you on them trips, you want to have somebody with you, right? When your girlfriend got her man and she's no longer coming around by herself because she got a man, or when she comes around she got a man with her. I bet you're gonna want a man around then. And again, we can sit here all day and be egotistical and be arrogant about it, but at the end of the day, you don't have the leverage. There's so many women out here, for one, but you want to be committed, right? A lot of these women, they want monogamy and commitment and someone to help build for them and provide for them in their life, right? Well, you got to get a man to do that. You got to get a man to do that. A lot of women say it's settling and all those type of things, but at the end of the day, get your mind right. Understand that you're going to have to compromise. Again, nobody wants to need anybody. Like to look at things like, hey, I need someone. I need a man or I need a woman. But I think like a lot of men understand that you want women around. Like you want a woman around. Like if you love women, like I do, I love women, right? Quality women, women that respect me, women that fuck with me. I love women, right? Just the essence of a woman, right? I'm not going around here acting like I don't need a woman, right? Of course, I'm independent. I don't need nobody. I got my bills to pay. We good. But what I'm saying is, so I don't necessarily need anybody, but I want someone. I want a quality person to share memories and moments with, right? For someone to speak life into me as I speak it into them. And we can go on this journey called life together. Understanding that nothing's perfect. You're going to have bad days, or you're going to have days that aren't the best. But you keep chugging along, and you do that with someone that you feel is worthy of doing that with. Now, can you imagine being with a woman that doesn't even know what they want? What keeps them going? What makes them tick, right? What makes them happy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine being with a woman like that doesn't even know herself and she expects you to know? You know, this is why I'm saying this goes so deep, you know, in terms of how the interaction between men and women are in this dating scene is crazy. I mean, it's just beyond crazy. I've heard a lot of women say, hey, I want a guy to know without asking what to do. And it's like, literally, a lot of these women haven't even asked themselves. And if you make the wrong move and you don't do the right thing, then you obviously aren't listening, right? Or you're not paying attention, right? They put all the onus on you to figure things out, but they haven't figured themselves out. And then when you say, hey, you know what? As a man, you say, you know what? Here's, you know, I'm gonna point you in the right direction. I think I kind of understand who you are. Now you're controlling. Now you're a controlling guy. So again, this is, you know, these are landmines. I like to call moving landmines that they might just blow up in your face one day. And again, this is why a lot of guys feel like marriage and relationships and commitment and monogamy don't really work for a man at the end of the day. It's much more advantageous for a woman, is because you do all of this and then a woman can leave, citing that she just wasn't fulfilled. And in this day and age, that's okay for a woman to get divorced because she wasn't getting attention or whatever that may be. And it might just be these types of things. A guy's doing all he needs to do on every other thing, but because he's having an off year, an off few months going through something, or he's focused on something or whatever, right? There's a certain imbalance here or there. Now he's the worst guy ever. It justifies a woman just leaving and getting with the next guy. And then we got tons of content out here where the woman is tried to do that and realize the grass is not always greener. Very seldom is it greener on the other side. You're looking at social media, you're looking at somebody else's relationship and want some of that. But again, back to what I was saying, it's just, you know, again, can you imagine being with someone who don't even know themselves, but put the onus on you to know who they are? And these women wonder why they're single. They wonder why they're single. I mean, I'm just, trust me, I'm, you know, this is just my, you know, this is just what I see. Nothing personal. But see, these are the things that I think that men look for to say, okay, who am I getting with, right? Who am I dealing with at this point, right? And you start to see and let them talk and let them speak long enough, and they'll tell you who they are. They'll give you clues as to who they are, how they operate, and what you could be expecting. And the woman starts talking like this, I avoid at all costs. These are the type of women you ask. You got a long list of what a man should do. He's not funny, and I can guarantee you she's stale. She's not even nowhere near funny. right? Or she's not, whatever she does well, she probably does it very pedestrian level. But expect a man to be elite or really good at what he does. And I've always often said, like in relationships too, one thing I look at is if a person puts everything in your lap to keep them happy, you know, they put too much on a man to keep them. They bored. You know, as soon as you start talking about you're bored, I don't want that around me, because I realize it's just too many things to do. How are you bored? If you're bored, do something, right? But if you expect me to always entertain you and keep you stimulated, that's just too much on one person. And that just shows very inability for that person to be an adult and control their emotions. Like what is an adult, right? When we talk about adult, of course, age, right, and evolution of age, you know, where you got to, right? Once you're 18, you're adult. But ultimately, like, when we look at someone and we say, okay, this is a person who's reliable, stable, has self-control, discipline, a certain level combination of all of that, right? Time and place mindset, just all those things that go into that. That's what's an adult, right? You know, a lot of these women out here are grown kids. They're grown kids masquerading as adult, because yeah, you can have a kid, you know, you can live on your own, right? You can pay your own bills, right? Like that's what you do as an adult. Pay your own bills, take care of your way. But they lack the self-reflection, the discipline, the empathy, understanding of self to really be an adult. Keeping yourself happy. Like for me, I don't put that in nobody else's hands. Life is great, and even stillness, and when you have a situation where it's more calm and you chill and you're not ripping and running, I can appreciate that too. So for me, and I know that a lot of women feel like, you know, this goes into a woman being easy and oh, she's easy and her standards are low. No, I look for a woman that can appreciate a lot of different things. It ain't all about the price tag. It ain't all about what people think and what their opinions are. It's about what she thinks, and that she has control over her own emotions. Again, nobody's perfect. Situations happen. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be a calming presence as a man for her, right? But at the same time, I'm expecting her more often than not to hold it together. There's a lot of ways people drain you. People drain you by putting too much on you. People drain you by putting, you know, having you do things that they supposed to do. Things that they're supposed to handle, they put that on you. And see, what's crazy is that a lot of women that put a lot of this on you, right? They drain you, right? They take a lot of your guidance and, okay, cool, right? For a second, you try to play your role as a man and say, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay strong for you, right? Now, if you have certain different traumatic situations that happen, of course, you know, a man is going to be there for you, right? But I'm saying just on the day-to-day, this is normal, right? This is how we normally interact. This is how you normally act as a woman. This is how you normally conduct yourself. This is how you normally operate, right? After a while, you start feeling animosity towards me, right? Like I think I'm better than you or something like that. Like this is what a lot of women put guys through. A lot of guys don't talk enough about this, but a lot of women put guys through these type of things, right? They want them to be there and all this type of stuff, but then turn around, have animosity towards that man because they were there and, you know, tried to steer them and guide them a certain way, aid them through the process, and they started realizing it was a lot of issues and demons they had to work through, which again, nobody's perfect. We all working through things. Now she starts to have animosity towards that man. Why you think you my daddy? Why you trying to control me? You know, this is what a lot of women put guys through. But fellas, I got you. I'm here to talk about it. You know, a lot of women talk about the money aspect and what guys bring as far as providing on the financial end. And like I said, I totally understand that men are providers. That's what we do, right? But at the end of the day, men also provide guidance and stability and leadership. Again, this goes all into what women bring to the table, right? It's not only what you bring to the table, but what you don't bring. If you're a liability, that's not going to work. You want a quality man is going to look for the best deals. How else would you want it, right? You looking for a guy that's successful, that's ambitious, and understands what a good deal looks like. But you present yourself like a bad deal, that he's supposed to run over there to it and sign off on that? I think not. I understand as a woman you want a relationship, but are you ready for one? And then why are you trying to get a relationship as a woman? Like, what's your goal? Right? Not just a soft life and get things easier for you, but what is your overall goal? What are you looking for in a relationship? So yeah, your approach got to change. A lot of these women with this type of mindset has to change. And again, I always talk about, like, a lot of women say that they're more mature than men. And I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing that they want relationships and they try to shame men into saying, oh, you know, grow up, get rid of your toys and get rid of your motorcycle. Don't play video games. They, try to tell guys what to do. Oh, spend all your money on me. That's growing up. Right? You know what I'm saying? Do what I want you to do. That's growing up. Grow up. But reality is, a lot of these women need to grow up. Holding themselves accountable, being responsible for for their own actions, for who they become and how they think, and where their values are, where their values lay. But I'm just not seeing it. But yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. I appreciate you guys' support. You guys been really doing your thing. TCLwear.com. Check out the shop if you want to support the channel, my Chime, and other ways to donate. Maybe send a cup of coffee or something like that. All that's welcome and appreciated. As we continue to build more content on this channel, those are great ways to support us. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I appreciate you guys for watching. Until next time, be easy. Gone.